In a small, quiet town lived an elderly man named Henry. He was gentle, soft-spoken, and a little lonely, except for the loyal companion who followed him everywhere, a small golden-brown dog named Molly. Henry had found her many years ago during a heavy rainstorm, trembling beneath his porch. From that day on, they had been inseparable. Every morning the two walked the same route, through the park, past the bakery, and finally to the little convenience store on the corner. Molly always waited patiently outside while Henry picked up his newspaper and a loaf of bread. It was their ritual, a comforting piece of life they loved and shared. But one chilly autumn afternoon, everything changed. Henry patted Molly on the head, as he always did, and whispered, "I'll be right back, girl." He walked into the store, but he never came back out. Inside, Henry collapsed suddenly between the aisles. Customers rushed to help, and an ambulance arrived quickly. In the chaos, no one noticed the little dog waiting outside, ears perked, eyes fixed on the door. Molly waited, and waited, and waited. She stayed long after the store closed for the night, refusing to leave the place she last saw him. The next morning, she was still there, then the next, and the next. Some people tried to chase her away, thinking she was a stray. Others pitied her and brought her food, though she ate only enough to survive. No one could get close. Molly stayed at a distance, her gaze fixed on the doorway, always listening for familiar footsteps. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months. 3 whole months passed, and Molly never gave up. Kind-hearted strangers wondered where she came from. Children asked their parents why the little dog wouldn't go home. But Molly had a home. She simply couldn't return to it alone. Meanwhile, Henry lay unconscious in the hospital in a deep coma. Nurses spoke of how strong he had once been, how stubbornly he fought to live. And though he could not speak, deep in his mind he held on to one memory: Molly, her warm fur, her gentle eyes, how she rested her head on his knee every evening as he read. When Henry finally opened his eyes after 3 long months, his voice was faint and broken, but his first words were clear. "Where is my dog? Molly?" No one knew. Henry feared the worst, that she had wandered off, been hurt, or simply given up. The thought shattered him more than the illness ever had. When he was finally strong enough to walk, he didn't go home. He asked for a ride to one place only, the little convenience store. Snowflakes drifted softly from the winter sky as Henry approached the street corner, leaning on a cane. His heart pounded painfully with each step. What if she wasn't there? What if she had waited, but he had come too late? He turned the corner, and there she was. Molly sat in her usual spot, now thin and tired but still faithful. She lifted her head at the sound of footsteps, her ears twitching. Then their eyes met. For a long, magical second, they both froze, as if afraid to believe it was real. Then Molly let out a trembling, joyous cry and launched herself toward him, tail wagging furiously. She pressed her head against his chest, whining with relief, her small body shaking as though releasing months of fear and longing. Henry knelt, tears streaming down his face, wrapping his arms around her. "I'm here, girl. I'm here. I'm so sorry you had to wait so long." People around them stopped in their tracks as they witnessed the reunion, some smiling, some wiping their eyes. It was a moment that felt like a Christmas miracle. Henry brought Molly home that night, fed her, warmed her, and held her close as she finally slept peacefully for the first time in months. From that day forward, they never left each other's side again. And in that little town, people spoke of their story every winter, a reminder that real love never fades and true friendship never lets go. Because sometimes the most beautiful Christmas miracles come from the ones who wait for us, no matter how long it takes. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps these stories reach more listeners and keeps new ones coming. Sweet dreams, and thank you for being here.